Welcome to the Charity Changemakers podcast, the show where we dive into the journeys, challenges and successes of the leaders shaping the sector today. Each episode I'll be sitting down with the senior charity leaders to hear their stories, uncover their insights and explore what it really takes to drive change today. And if you enjoy the podcast, I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe, like and share to help us reach as many people as possible and showcase the incredible charities that are coming on the show. So whether you're a charity professional, a trustee, thinking about joining the sector or making that next step in your career, or just passionate about making an impact, then this podcast is for you. Let's get started. Today we're covering new ground on the Charity Changemakers podcast by inviting on our first ever founder of a not-for-profit organisation. I'm delighted to be joined by Chelsea Slater, who's the Chief Executive and founder of Innovate Her. It's an absolutely inspiring story of Chelsea, who saw a need and was able to begin a service by networking, growing groups, getting to know people in her local area, and grow that now into what Innovate Her is today. An organisation that is on the move, that is growing, that is reaching more young people than what it's ever reached before. It's an absolutely inspiring and fascinating conversation that I share with Chelsea. There's lots to look out for, so I hope you enjoy this episode of the podcast. So that's enough from me. Let's get on and meet our changemaker. Hi, and it's great to have Chelsea here with us on the Charity Changemakers podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, so am I. And actually, I was reflecting on this. I don't think we've had someone who's been in a sort of startup founder position before on the podcast. So this is new territory for us. So I'm really, really excited for the conversation ahead. But look, you can do this better justice than I can. So can you give us a quick introduction as to who you are and what you do?
Of course. So I am Chelsea Slater, and I'm the CEO and founder of a social enterprise called Innovate Her. Great. And we are on a mission to get girls ready for the tech industry and the tech industry ready for girls. And we do that through programs into schools, as well as working with amazing businesses and brands.
Yes, brilliant, fabulous. And we're going to learn more about Innovate Her as we move through the conversation and ways in which we can support and get involved, which would be absolutely fabulous. And one of the things that we like to do at the start of these podcasts is just some really quick fire questions for listeners, the audience, to get to know you a little bit and ease us, I think, gently into the conversation. But we've gone out, this being the second series, we've gone out to the audience and asked for questions that we're going to ask people this series. So I've written them down to make sure that I get them right. So the first quick fire for you today is, what are you listening to or reading at the moment?
So at the moment, I'm reading an amazing book by, you've probably heard of her, called Mel Robbins. So she's just launched a book called The Let Them Theory.
Yeah, right.
Which is an amazing book. I've just finished it on the weekend, and it's all around a mindset shift around how you can stop people control it, or taking away your control, I suppose, and letting people just be themselves and say things that they want to say and not let it get to you. And I think the way that she's written it is just so interesting, and it's already really helped shift my perspective. Yes. And just relax more, whether it's in business or at home. Yeah. So I would definitely recommend that. It's the Let Them Theory.
Yeah, I think someone mentioned that when you said the author's name. I think someone mentioned that to me the other day. So maybe when you hear things twice, I think that's probably, I've got to go away and look it up.
She's amazing, Mel. She's a motivational speaker in herself, and you know the way that she's written this book as well is just so simple and easy to digest, which is sometimes quite hard, I think. Yeah. To do when it's around mindset or business. So yes.
Yeah, great. No, that's really, really helpful. So the second quick fire question for you is, what is a quality that you had as a child which you still have today as an adult?
It's probably just being creative. So as a child, my favorite thing to do as a child was to create like scrapbooks. My favorite one was my Spice Girls one.
Yeah, amazing.
So just putting scrapbooks together, being creative, like out of magazines and stuff. And that's definitely something that I do in my current life. I'm a very creative person, but now I probably don't do it so much in a scrapbook way, but
Yeah.
I journal and I do vision boards, and that really keeps me focused. So I've kind of done that all my life, which is great.
Oh, brilliant. I'm going to add a quick fire question. So sorry, putting you on the spot. Favorite Spice Girl?
Or it had to be Emma,
Yeah.
Bacon's face, only because everyone used to say that I look like her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she's my fave.
Yeah. Okay. Baby Spice. Great. Good stuff. So final quick fire question for you then. You've got a completely free day, Chelsea. I don't know how often these come along, but if you get one, how are you spending it?
Well, I'm very lucky, and we might talk about this later, but I work 4 days a week.
Yeah.
So I do generally have, Fridays are normally me days.
Yeah.
And the way that I spend them is normally alone. I'm quite the hermit. And my dream day would be just going out for a walk, getting a coffee in the morning. It's sunny. I might be by the sea having a walk. I might take myself off for a little cinema date, eat some good food, and just have a really relaxing day on my own. But luckily enough, I do tend to try and slip them into my diary quite often. But that's bliss to me.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll definitely pick up on that. As we move through the conversation. So, look, like I say, I'm really grateful for you coming on. Thank you for answering those questions, and it's really great insights that we get to know guests a little bit better through the start of the conversation. Obviously, this is a conversation about people's route into charity sectors, into the work that they're doing with the non-profit organisations. Obviously, you mentioned about Innovate Her and being a social enterprise. But I'd be really interested, and I know it's a really big sort of broad question, but as to how you sort of ended up in this not-for-profit space and your journey into what that looked like, because I still very rarely speak to people who grew up going, "Oh, I knew I wanted to be a charity or not-for-profit specialist when I grow up." So what was that route in?
Great question, and it has been completely random. Like you said, I never envisaged me working in the charity space, or at least obviously I own my own social enterprise now, which is amazing. But the route into that, it basically just came from passion, and I'll tell you a little bit about that story. So when I was younger, I didn't really have career aspirations. My aspirations were quite low.
Yeah.
And someone came to me in school and gave me like an assembly basically and talked to me about media. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Media sounds so cool. Like, I didn't know that this job existed.
Yeah.
And that just 20-minute talk made me think about choosing media studies as a GCSE, which I did.
Yeah.
And that moment really changed my life, because I wouldn't have picked that as a GCSE. And then I wouldn't have gone to college to go and do multimedia.
Yep.
And then I wouldn't have gone to university to do media and marketing. And then I wouldn't have ended up in tech where I started my career. And all of that moment, was a catalyst for me. And it really helped me find my path. Then, as I said, I got my first job in the tech sector and realised that I was the only woman there after a few weeks. And then, as you do some research. I was like, why is this a thing? So I researched like gender in technology and realised that actually it was quite a big problem and that no one was really solving it. There was communities here and there doing some work, but I was like, right, this needs to change. I love technology. I love being creative. I love how innovative it is. And in Liverpool, where I was living at the time and working, there wasn't anything to support me as a woman in tech. So I started as a hobby, a thing called Liverpool Girl Geeks, and that was in 2013, and put on events and workshops for women that might want to go into technology, and invited people working in tech to come and tell their story.
And were you just funding that yourself? What did that kind of look like, putting on events and stuff?
It was just a hobby. Yeah, I got we were usually in a cafe or a community space, got them to give us the venue for free. Didn't pay speakers. I was just getting what I could to do this. I felt like so passionately about making change. But it was about a year in, and those people that attended the monthly events were asking for more and more. So they were like, Chelsea, you've inspired us now. We want the skills to go into tech. Can you put on some courses? So I started putting on courses. And then I was like, I can't do this full time. Like I can't do this at the side of my job. So I need to think about how I can do it full time. So that's when I started to think about it as a business, but more importantly, as a social enterprise.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know what a social enterprise was then. I just thought you set up a business. But when I was researching, I was like, right, social enterprise is a thing. And I thought this fit so well within it. So I set up a social enterprise, became its founder, and have been on that journey ever since.
Yeah. And did you? I mean, you said you didn't really know what a social enterprise was at that point. I mean, had you come across other social enterprises, or ran into that model, or was it you just went away, did the research, found out about it? And maybe it's worth just explaining a little bit about what a social enterprise is, in case anyone's listening that doesn't know themselves.
Yeah, so basically we set up as something called a community interest company, which is a type of company that you can start on Companies House, and it means that you're a company that is that runs in the best interest of the community that you serve. And it means also that you're a limited company by guarantee, which means that the founder or directors of that organisation don't take shares from it. And you have to do things like a CIC form every year to prove your impact. So you have to prove that you make an impact. I found out about this stuff through a local charity in Liverpool called the Women's Organisation. Right. So they had like a business workshop and was telling people about the different types of businesses that you can set up. So I went to those and then realised that this was a thing. I didn't know any social enterprises. I knew of charities. I knew of your big charities like Oxfam and a lot of the homeless charities that are out there. And because you hear about them every day, right? Sure. Comic Relief, your big ones. Yeah. But no, I didn't really know of smaller ones until I started my own, and then they all come out of the surface. You get to network with them, and you get, into that community, which in itself is amazing to be part of. So yeah, Innovate Her was launched then in 2017. Yeah, along with the social enterprise. So we've been around for about 8 years now as an official social enterprise, which is
amazing. And it's really easy to say in a sentence, and then we launched in 2018. And but what did that look like? I mean, you kind of you like you say, you've got this CIC, you've got this vehicle. It's just you, is it at that point? I mean, what? Yeah, or are there others involved? What does it look like?
Yeah, so there's a few things that happened. So whilst I was still working, I set up a community of like writers to write for us, to like work on inspiring content for adults and young people. And it was within that group I found my co-founder. Yeah. So she joined us and then we launched together, and it was just me and her. And then we had this big community behind us. So it was amazing. And we hired a place in Liverpool called Fact, which was a cinema. Yeah. And we put on a big fancy launch, which was the best day ever. But also before then, we'd piloted a lot of stuff. Right. So we put together a pilot project, which was all around getting young people into technology. Yeah. Specifically 13 to 17-year-olds. And we got the backing of the co-op for that. Right. So the co-op was integral really to our growth. They not only funded that, but they were hugely involved in the delivery, and then they really backed us in terms of their marketing as well, and give us people, and they also talked at our launch event. And I think just having not only the backing of the community that we'd already built over many years, we have this amazing big well-known partner that was financially supporting us. Yeah. And then we had the grounds to launch then. I think we've done it really slowly and quite naturally. We've never had as a social enterprise, you don't really get investment anyway, but we've never taken on big loans. it's very grassroots, and it's been a real like slow growth almost, I would say, which has been great from a learning perspective for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And that organic growth over, like you say, from building those networks, doing the volunteering, building up, that supporter base as well, being able to pilot programs to then launch. What have the last few years looked like then for Innovate Her, and what's the sort of the journey been and what does delivery of service look like today, and how's that evolved from, what are we talking, 7 years ago?
Well, it's evolved a lot because we had that massive pandemic, if you remember, in the middle of all that.
Trying not to remember that, but yeah,
I
that's
know.
right.
So we'd launched in Liverpool, and then we launched in Manchester, and we were running all of our schools programs in Manchester, which was amazing. Traditionally, how we work is we partner with a company to sponsor schools to deliver our programs, and that delivery was done in a school. So we would go, usually there'd be like after school clubs, and we'd teach these amazing young people about tech and build their confidence and bring role models in. But then the pandemic hit, and we obviously then couldn't do that anymore. Physically, we couldn't be in the school.
Yeah.
And we were worried because obviously we were partnering with these big companies that were paying for this. And we also had some grant funding from like the Combined Authority in Greater Manchester, which was our biggest project at that time. They had funding that was linked to, us delivering in schools. So in the pandemic, there was 4 or 5 of us in the team, and we're double that now, which is amazing. But there was 5 of us in the team, and we decided as a small group to create an e-learning platform. We were like, how are we going to deliver and continue to work and support our beneficiaries, which were the young people on the programs? So we started thinking about how we could create this digital platform, and because we had quite techie people within the organization, we just built it. We just built it ourselves, and we continued to deliver on what we were delivering, which was amazing. We also had an amazing project with PlayStation at that time, which was developed all online, where they made games, and we built this huge community, which was a fantastic pandemic project. I don't know, it doesn't sound very good, but it was made for the pandemic, like for people being at home. Like it was very catered for that, which was brilliant. But we got through that and all of the challenges that came with, and the e-learning is how we've managed to continue to be here today. So e-learning is a huge focus for us. I'd say 80% of our delivery now exists on that e-learning platform, which is in its probably about third or fourth iteration since we launched back then. But we have found that not only are the schools and the teachers and the students actually much more open to this model of delivery, it's changed the whole makeup of what Innovate Her looks like. And our social enterprise, we're fully remote now. We've been able to hire across the country. We have a board that is made up of 14 people from around the world, and all of those things have been an enabler for us to grow.
Absolutely.
So we've changed a lot. And
that change of delivery of service to that more electronic, because obviously you talked about Liverpool and Manchester kind of hubs. Are you delivering services wider than that, or are there plans to take it to a different? Yeah, I mean, like you say, the world's your oyster, right?
Yeah. So a couple of years ago, we said that we're national. We said we don't need to be necessarily in these local areas. So we work all across the UK now and beyond. So we've had a lot of schools in like California, India, Dubai, come to some of our events. But predominantly we're UK based, but all over the UK, which is also great, because these companies are all the companies that support us. We've got 24 amazing partners. They're based all over the UK as well. And what we love to do is bring relevant role models to people. So if you're based in Hull, say, then if you've got a brand and people working within Hull that are from Hull, that's going to be the best and most relevant person to put into a school, because it just hits differently. So that's what we also try and do is put relevant people into the schools to deliver. Which has been great.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's a lot of partnership approach to working. Obviously, you got your sponsors and then the schools and getting out there. How have you been able to sort of manage those, building those relationships, and I guess getting word out there about who you are and what you do?
So I think, we've always been corporate led. We've always been funded by corporates, and we've never, which is I think is quite unique for a social enterprise or charity, have relied on grant funding much at all. So we use grant funding for things like innovation, new products, and to trial stuff. But our business model is that we work with corporates, and we don't just get sponsorship from them either. We have a service back to them. So our mission is to get girls ready for the tech industry and the tech industry ready for girls. So the schools piece is only one half. The other piece is really working with these brands to help them become more inclusive. So we developed a service for them and put together a wonderful deck. Like, I've got graphic design skills, which have come in so handy for building this business, and my marketing skills, because that's what I've used to entice these brands to come and work with us. We've got a strong brand, we've got strong messaging, and that's been critical actually for our growth. So, my method of getting in front of them is just to create things that they might really be interested in, brand them up with their logos on, and send it to the relevant people. And that's worked really well for us. And then since then, we've had brands approach us wanting to do specific things as well. But we wouldn't exist without our partners.
And you talk about being, are you a completely remote organisation, or have you got office space? What does that kind of look like?
We used to have an office again in Liverpool, but we got rid of that a few years ago. And now we're fully remote. We have got a co-working space still in Liverpool, and we get to use like the office space and stuff like that.
Sure.
We're fully remote, and we've employed people across the UK now, which has been great for us from a talent and also a diversity perspective, which we live and breathe at Innovate Her. So we're really practicing what we preach there, because we've got people around the table that are from very different walks of life, and we've made it work. It's been hard, because I think sometimes to get a really strong culture, it's easier to do in person, but we've been really intentional with the culture side of the business, and we've got such a strong one. Even though we are remote, we've got all of the things that you need around communication and collaboration. We've adopted all of the tools to be able to do that online, which has been great.
And I guess I'd be interested to hear, because a lot of the sector is organisations that are going from whether they're smaller businesses that we're involved in, or right through to the some of the charities that are tens of millions of pounds of turnover that are going remote. I think some of the they're grappling with those challenges as to how you instill that positive collaborative working culture across a team of people that are spread from all over the place. Have there been tools or tech or things that you found that have worked really well for you at Innovate Her?
Yeah, I think the things that we've done really well is just making sure that we've got really clear communication rules, almost, which we've collectively established as a team. So just things like the rhythms that we have at Innovate Her. So having your weekly team meeting with a very fixed agenda, your monthly meeting, your quarterly meeting. Quarterly, we do bring everyone together for 2 days, and they're extra special because we design days that are so collaborative and social as well, like making sure that we've got social time with everyone. But we've done that online as well. We have social time, we have learning time, like the calendar of events that we've put together has been so well curated so that we do have those touch points with each other. I don't think that it's affected our culture at all. Actually, I think it's actually made it stronger because we've been so intentional. And then we use things like Slack, Monday.com, the Google Suite, like all of those things are integral to our business. We use Slack in a way where we're keeping everyone up to date. We're over communicating on Slack. So putting statuses up where we are and what we're doing that day. So we just know what people are up to and where they are. And Monday.com for collaboration on specific projects. We've set all of that up. And obviously as a social enterprise as well, you have to impact report.
Yes,
and gather as much measure data as possible. And that's actually easier to do, I think, online because, it's much easier to gather data online as it is in person. Like getting people to fill out surveys in schools and then inputting it is really difficult. So all of that side of it has been really easy. But I'd say being really intentional around communication and collaboration is key, and it takes so much effort. I think even businesses that are full-time in the office only have great cultures if they're making an effort anyway. It's just the same online. It's just different tools that you use.
Yeah, absolutely. Chelsea, when I speak to you, I'm always greatly impressed by sort of the energy, the enthusiasm, the vision, I guess that resilience, and that going to get things done. You can see a need and responded to it. Look, I'm sure there's been challenges or setbacks through the journey over the last 6-7 years or 7+ years now with Innovate Her. As you reflect on those. What sort of, I guess, valuable learnings have you taken from those points where there's been difficulty or there've been challenge?
I think one of my biggest, it's a personal one. When I was first founding this business, I used to say we're not going to exist in 10 years' time because there won't be a need for us. And I think that a lot of founders in this space will know how I feel about that. Like they would have felt like that too. And I think obviously I've been doing this kind of work for 12 years now, and we're nowhere near where I thought we were going to be. So I think I've reflected on that and realized it's really difficult to remain hopeful in this space, especially when you're a small charity doing a lot of work on the ground, making small shifts in society, when actually what I'm trying to do is change the world, change society in itself, and all of the stereotypes and the things that have been ingrained in society that we are trying to change. But so I think I've really learned that you have to be resilient, that you need to still have that hope, but not to be so naive with it. Like we are probably going to exist until we either fail and we just can't get any money anymore to do what we're doing, or something drastically changes, like change of leadership or something. So that's been a massive learning curve for me, is to just also understand how I can keep going, because as a CEO I need to bring everyone along with me. I need to motivate my team, and sometimes in this space it can be demotivating. So that's been a big learning curve. And then I think generally I found that sometimes the charity and social enterprise sector just doesn't get enough credit, and it doesn't get taken seriously enough, and that's frustrating. A lot of the word not for profit actually frustrates me, because as an organization you need to be profitable to be sustainable. And I can't take any of that profit out, but we need a profitable business. And I think a lot of the challenges we've seen is that sometimes brands or individuals expect you to do a lot for free because you're a voluntary organization or whatever. And we're like, well, no, we can't, because our funding needs to come from somewhere, and we won't exist if we didn't have it. So that's been another challenge for us, is trying to find the balance of, being a purpose-led organization that is a social enterprise, but also trying to be quite commercially
Yeah.
minded,
Yeah.
so that we can actually, make a profit and sustain and give promotions and grow.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's a common frustration across the sector, isn't it? I mean, it's that realization just how far the charity, the impact sector, yeah, from your local museums to your leisure centres, to supporting a mental health crisis, to needing an air ambulance to get you to hospital in an emergency. All of these things are provided by 170,000 plus charities. I'm not sure how many social enterprises there are. I don't know the figures for that off the top of my head, but tens of thousands of social enterprises across the country, as well. And I guess the other thing I'm really interested in what you mentioned there is about, and this might go back to the having your regular Friday off. But what are you doing to invest in yourself, to look after yourself, to maintain that you continue to have that energy and enthusiasm, and keep that hope for getting to a point where you as an organisation are no longer needed, right? That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, I do a lot of work around this on myself. I've had multiple coaches, which I think have
Yeah.
been massively beneficial for my personal growth. Even like, so when obviously businesses and social enterprise face a lot of challenge internally as well. So just trying to navigate that as well as the mission that we're on, and is often really hard. So I've lent on coaches, on therapists to try and get me out of the rut that I'm experiencing, or the thing that I need to get through. And that's been life changing for me. I had a coach last year to get me through a specific problem in the team, which was amazing.
Yeah.
And I've had coaches in the past more generally to help with my leadership.
Yeah.
And from that, a lot of the coaching that I've had is around setting boundaries. I think as a founder, I'm always saying yes, or I used to always say yes to absolutely everything, and that would come to the detriment of the team and to myself. So I've really learned to be more selective about where I put my energy, who I give my energy to, and what I am saying yes to.
Yeah.
So that's been really helpful. You mentioned the 4-day week. So one of the things that we made a decision on a few years ago, and for the whole team, is to go from a 40-hour a week full-time organization to a 30-hour week full-time organization.
Yeah.
And and also the ability for people to condense hours. So
Yeah.
I usually work 4 days a week now, and even condensing that is still only a 7.5-hour day. So that's like the
Sure.
normal day for most people.
Yeah.
It allows me to have a bit of a longer weekend, but also if I do need that Friday, it's peaceful, it's for admin, but then no one's around, so I can go and do my own thing around that. And I've really learned to try and embrace that for myself, but also as a leader, to showcase that it's okay for other people to do it.
Yes. Sure.
And then I'll be having my dream day. Like most Fridays, if I can try and have my dream day, which we
Yeah.
talked about at the beginning,
Yeah.
that really does help me lead this organization in the best way. If I'm able to take time for myself
Yeah.
and rest as much as I work, because I work really hard, if I can rest just as hard, like that is the best balance for me.
Yeah. Do you find even in those times of rest, or those dream days, there's still moments or light bulb moments where, I mean, clearly, work, you're a founder, you're heavily invested in what you're doing. There's still moments in there that you go, this is how I could unlock this, or I've got that idea, or I see an opportunity here.
Yeah, you should see the notes on my phone. I've got about 800 notes on this thing, and I'm constantly writing stuff in there. And I think that actually comes from the rest period. So Christmas is the worst. So I have 2 full weeks off. The whole team have 2 full weeks off at Christmas. And after week 1, I'm like, oh my God, we could do this, we could do that. And it's the same with holidays throughout the year. I think that's really important. And that's why rest is great as well, is if you really switch off, new ideas come. And I do believe, that is, well, I'm proof of that, because a lot of my ideas do come on them off days. But I will be quite good with myself to continue to rest, put it in my phone, park it, and come back to it when is right.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I reflected a few years ago. I think I can't even remember what we were doing, but we were brainstorming something where I was working, the charity I was working. We had meeting after meeting after meeting. I think we were coming up for a brand name for something, or a product that we were trying to launch. And you just, there's so many people that were involved. I think it was sort of halfway down the M3 on my normal hour commute that suddenly you'd just been able to switch off a little bit and just be in a different environment. That suddenly it comes. And I think when I started working here, I'm working in a much more remote type fashion when COVID came. I used to feel really guilty actually going out for like a walk with the dog or whatever. But actually, sometimes it's so important to switch off and to get away. And it's transformed. I mean, I'd love to get to a 4-day week, but I've changed to a 9-day fortnight, and that every other Monday. Yeah, like I say, sometimes there's times where I just sat down, I might just need to do some admin, but I just go out and have that space, and you're reflecting on some of the things that you're working on and projects, and it's amazing how suddenly things can come to you, or you can see a way through a challenge or a problem, or you can see a new idea can come to fruition. I don't think enough leaders make that time and that space.
I've moved to the countryside as well, so like literally as I step out my door now, I'm in fields. So like if I just give myself 10 minutes to like brain dump all the things that I've got going on, like after then I'll really start to relax, and then that's when the amazing thoughts come, like, and the ideas come. And I just think it's so important. Another thing that I did for the last 2 years is work from Spain for 3 months.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which has also been incredible, because obviously the lifestyle there and the weather and all that just makes you feel so good. So that's been really beneficial to my mental health and to my leadership journey as well. So love remote working for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds like a great idea. I'm not sure my wife would let me get away with that though. Just leave her with the kids.
We took the dogs and everything. We did.
Yeah, indeed. No, that's great. Look, I want to give you the opportunity to say maybe something that's going on at Innovate Her at the moment, whether there's, I don't know, a project or ways in which people can get involved or supporting. Actually, I saw the other day actually on LinkedIn, you're looking for trustees as well. So I think you'd probably plug that as well.
Yeah, so I don't know when this is going to go out, but
we're close to the deadline.
Yeah, we're close to the deadline for the trustees, but we're always looking for trustees as well. Like every year we'll do shout outs. I think for us, people that work in the tech or STEM sectors in particular, so if you've got that background within a charity or social enterprise, please sign up to be an ambassador. We've not got enough charity and social enterprise employees or founders that are part of our ambassador network, and it'd be great for us to showcase you from a tech perspective to our young people. Young people now really want to work for charities. They are so much more ethical. They want to work in sustainability and all of those amazing things. So I think that would be amazing. And another project we're working on at the moment is in AI. Obviously, AI is like the hottest topic at the minute, and we're all using it, but we want to launch a program for the next generation around ethical and responsible AI. So that's like the biggest thing that we're working on at the moment, and we're looking for contributors and partners and anyone that wants to help with that, really.
Yeah, brilliant. So obviously Innovate Her into Google, and they'll be able to find the website, and come and have a look. And obviously when we put the episode out and things go out, we'll tag you, Chelsea, and obviously the organisation as well. So if people want us to follow those links and get in touch, then clearly they'd be welcome.
Thank you.
So. Yeah, good. Look, I always like to sort of round these conversations up with a similar question for all of the guests. If you could go back to the start of your career, Chelsea, and give yourself one piece of advice, what do you think that would be?
I think it would be to take up space. So I used to be terrified of public speaking, of just saying yes to opportunities that really scared me. And I think that my voice needs to be heard, and other young women's voices need to be heard in these spaces. So I would tell her to go for it. And also when you do, which I did at some point,
Yeah.
it feels easier every single time. So
Yeah.
it might be uncomfortable at first, but take up space and you'll feel better each time you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if I could just build. I know that was going to be the last question, but I kind of, if I could just sneakily put another one in. I get is, someone in your scenario, right now who can see a need, who can see a gap, and doesn't know what to do, or thinks, "Oh, I've got an idea. I think this could happen." Yeah. What advice would you give to someone in that type of scenario who's thinking, I think I could do something here?
I'd say two things. First of all, use ChatGPT now to pull something together for you. Like, get it to be your coach, get it to be your business mentor, and create a wonderful presentation around what your aims are and objectives. And then, obviously, that some people might want to do that, some people might not want to. If you don't want to do that, the next thing I would do is, when you've created this deck or website or whatever it is that you're going to create to tell us why you want to do this and why it's needed, is just reach out to as many people as you can on LinkedIn, on whatever social media platform you can find. Reach out to them and ask them if they can support it. You'll be surprised. You might get 100 no's, but in there you might get one yes. You might get one person that is really willing to support you. That's how we found Co-op. We messaged someone on, it was Twitter, but now it's X.
Yes.
And they ended up funding us, and they've funded us over about £500,000 now.
Yeah, amazing.
So and that was just by direct messaging someone on social media. ChatGPT as a mentor, and just reaching out to people and asking for help.
Yeah. I guess with that, there's a bit of a resilience, isn't there, for not giving up on the 100 no's. And if it's real, keep it on going. Yeah.
And you will get no's. People just haven't got the time. I often have to say no to people on LinkedIn, like asking for advice. I've set up an Instagram channel now around my leadership and journey so that people can follow that instead, because it's just, you just don't have the time. So just keep going though, because some people will have the time, and if it's aligned to them, then they'll say yes in the end.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, well, Chelsea, thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you, coming on the podcast and sharing with us. Like I say, we'll tag you. Obviously, you can find Chelsea on LinkedIn. Also, sounds like on Instagram as well. And definitely, make sure that you go and have a look at the Innovate Her website, opportunities there to learn about the programs, the projects, and the ambassador network as well. So, Chelsea, again, huge thanks, and we'll speak again soon.
Definitely. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Charity Changemakers podcast. I hope you've been inspired by the incredible work being done across the charity sector. And this episode is proudly brought to you by my business, Charisma Charity Recruitment. We are passionate about delivering top-tier recruitment services to the charity sector that we care so much about. If your organisation is looking for expert support, then we'd love to help. Please do get in touch today. If you've enjoyed today's conversation, please leave a review, and don't forget to subscribe, like and share, because it helps us reach more people and showcase the amazing charities that come on the show. And for more episodes, please visit our website, charismarecruitment.co.uk. So until next time, keep change making.